Hi, this is Eric here, and in this tutorial we're going to be going through invoicing. So click there, and then I'm going to click New, and just for the first invoice, just to show you how to do cash sales if you need them. There's two ways of doing cash sales. The first is I've made a customer called cash sale, so you can just select a customer called cash sale, or I could just type their details in here in the address box and put in their address and stuff like that. So that's two ways of doing a cash sale. But in this tutorial we're going to be selecting colonial cottages. There we go. And you'll see that it's put in the date and the invoice number. And so let's just put in a description and a quantity of 2 liters or whatever it is you sell, and $100 each. And there's our first line on the invoice. Okay, next I'm going to turn on the products code just in case you do sell by with a products lookup. So in this case you'll see it's added this. So now I can select some products, and next I'm going to show you the Binox button. It's an alternate way to looking up a product if you've got a big list. So I'll click there and I'll type in CAR, enter, and now it's got everything with CAR in the product or the code. So I'll type that one, and so now I've typed in 2 different lines. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to insert a line, like say you've forgotten something and you want to add it in the middle, not down the bottom. So you go right click, insert line, and there it is. And if I want to make that whole line blank, I can just delete all these out and it's gone. So that's for inserting a blank line. And if I want to delete a line, right click, delete line. Are you sure? Yes, and it's gone. Okay, next we're going to go through this customizable field or user defined field. So this is something that you can set up yourself, and I'm going to change this to street address. And then I'm going to put in a street address. And with this field you can have it as a multi-line option if you want. So if I click there, I can type in and click OK. And now if I hit preview and zoom in, you'll see it says street address, Unit 7, Reeves Road, Pickering, Auckland, and it's got all the other details. So there we go. So that's the basics of entering in the data for invoice. Now there's 3 different statuses. So there's incomplete, which is how it starts off, and once you've emailed it or printed it, it goes to outstanding, and then once it's been paid, it goes to paid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email it, and I've put in one of our support box email addresses, and I'm going to send the email. And there you go, and you'll see that it's just changed the status to outstanding. Now I'm just going to email it again just to show you some other options. You'll see that in here it's got another person, which is by default unticked, and that comes from over here. That's to zoom into Colonial Cottages. So that's the main emailing address, but you can also have other email addresses down here. So here we've got Basil Wendell and his email address. So that's how you can do that. And also, if they're not on the list, you can hit new, and then you can type in the email address, and then it'll appear on the list. So you can send it to as many people as you want. Then you can also send it as a PDF. So if I click send PDF, now it's showing what the PDF looks like in the background and who it's going to. You can put in a comma and then another email address if you want. Subjects, the body of the email. You can also edit the default text. This is the default text for all new emails. And you can also add more attachments if you want. So click that. Anyway, I'm happy with that, so I hit send email. And this one's got to send an attachment, so it'll take a little bit longer. There you go. So now it's been sent as a PDF. Okay, so now let's make it paid. And the easiest way to make it paid is down here. But as soon as I click on it, it says it's better done in the Cashbook after importing a bank statement. So that's the best way of doing it. So when you import your bank statement, then down the bottom of the Cashbook you can select the inv box and you can then allocate it to this invoice. But some people don't use the Cashbook at all, they only use the invoicing part of the Cashbook. So I'm going to double click it and post it to the Cashbook, yes, and now it's marked off as paid. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to change the status of an invoice without emailing it or printing it. So I'm going to look up a incomplete invoice. So it's incomplete and I don't want to email it or print it. So the way you make that outstanding, so make it current, is click print and then I'll hit cancel again, and now it's changed it to outstanding. So now that's how to do that with an invoice. Next I'm going to show you how to look up an invoice. So if I click look up, there's incomplete, outstanding, paid and all, so you can select whichever one you want. And one thing that's useful is you can do a search down here. So I could search for CL Colonial Cottages, and let's say I'm only interested in the paid ones. Then what I can do is I can double click it, and then when I next go to look up, it remembers the search criteria. I can look for the next one, and there it is, and then I can look for the third one, and there it is. So that's how to go through a set of invoices for a certain customer or something like that. Okay, next up I'm going to be going through cloning. So this is if I've got a particular invoice that I want to make a copy of. Let's say it's the one that I've just made. I can hit clone and it says cloning was successful, and now I've got an exact copy of the invoice that we just made earlier on. Okay, next I'm going to be going through batch invoicing, and this is for if you have people like on a monthly subscription, and you can make it so you just send a batch every month, and that's the topic of the next tutorial. So I've just shown you where it is. And next I'm going to show you how to wind back an invoice. So here I've got an invoice that's paid, and you can't change anything. Like if I try changing there, you can't change anything. You can't change numbers I'm trying to type. It doesn't work. So if I click edit, are you sure? Now it's gone back to outstanding, and now the only thing I can do is change the payment details. So I could, for example, delete that. It's still in the cash book. There you go, but I still can't edit anything in the invoice. And if I click edit again, now it's gone to incomplete, and now I can type whatever I want in the invoice. So that's basically how to wind back the status of a invoice so that you can edit it. Then there's also a packing slip which you can print. It previews it first, so that's a packing slip. And also you can click print an envelope. There you go. For envelopes, you need to first set it up with envelope setup over there. And the last thing I'm going to go through is each invoice has a set of details which is specific to that invoice. You can, for each invoice, type in the salesperson if you want. You can also put in some sort of code if you want to be able to do a report where you code each invoice and you want to be able to search for a particular cost center or something like that. And also for each invoice you can change the terms. It always puts in the default terms from your setup. But if you've got a customer, for example, that's bad at paying their bills and you want to make it 1 week instead of 30 days from date of invoice, then you can change the terms over there before you send it. So there you go. That's basically invoicing. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next tutorial. See ya. Bye.